Hola mi gente, hi my friends and family. Thank you once again for joining me in my YouTube channel. Look guys, I cannot continue to progress, to grow, to share my knowledge and expertise if you're not liking and subscribing. So please like and subscribe down below, share with your friends and family. I appreciate all the love and the support you guys would give me and continue to give me. So, all right guys, real estate has its perks, has its pros and cons. I wanted to be very honest with you in this episode and tell you about the 5 mistakes I made or possible lessons I made when I purchased my first home back in 2018. I was a young 25-year-old, I think 24, 25. I was stationed in HMR. I was over there in Hawaii living my best life. It was amazing. And I thought at that time, I'm like, you know what? I'm sold. I could figure it out. I want to buy a house. This is the next step, I want to do. And I decided to connect with one of my friends. He connected me with his realtor, and that was history. Honestly, my realtor in Hawaii, she's now my partner. She is also my partner, my friend, my partner, all the jazz. But she definitely helped me in a lot of things, but there was some things I had to learn on my own. As a first-time home buyer, I was not in real estate at that time, so there was some things that I was kind of like hard-headed on, or just didn't know that it was just a lot. So I'm gonna be honest with you, all right? Okay, now the first thing is, I think is a mistake more than a lesson. Either way, when I first got into real estate or wanting to purchase a home, I spoke to my realtor first, which is not a bad step. However, I didn't know financially what I was walking into, right? Realtors don't tell you how much your mortgage is gonna be. They don't tell you, we can give you a good estimate, but regardless, nothing's like running your credit. Nothing's like knowing the property taxes, knowing the interest, like all that stuff is for the lenders. So I failed to do that at first. I went straight to her and then got with a lender, which is kind of like I'm already like a quarter into the process. So it would have been a little bit embarrassing to walk away, or, this could have been some things that I could have fixed, right? Or my partner could have fixed at that time before even, contacting her. So, I do advise you, if you have the opportunity to go talk to a lender, just to kind of get your feet wet and just kind of ask a few questions regarding, hey, how much potentially my interest rate would be, or like my monthly payments. I would encourage that if you have any doubts financially, or your credit score, anything like that. If not, it's okay. Speak with the realtor. We have a lot of people in our bag that we trust and we work with before that we could definitely recommend. But I just feel like, honestly, that was kind of like a lesson learned. I should have just kind of know my numbers first, so then I know exactly what to look for and not get disappointed, right? So just being honest, you know what I'm saying? I just want to let you guys know how it was for me. Okay, the second mistake that I encountered was I sold my house because I was afraid. So, all right, let's just do a little background check. All right, so I owned a home for, at this time, I'm gonna say 2.5 years, right? And I was going through a divorce. It wasn't ugly, it wasn't bad, it was okay. And I thought to myself, okay, well, I'm ending that, cool. And then I am leaving the military, cool. I can't have this mortgage over, under me, because what if, right? I didn't trust in the system. I didn't trust in the ability to rent my home. So I got pretty afraid, and because I was, by myself, and I decided, you know what, I am going to sell my house as soon as possible, so then I could transition out of the military and not have any baggage per se, right? That was a huge mistake, because I was already in Hawaii. I was living there as my primary residence. I was already two years out of the 5 that you're supposed to technically live in the home. So then like the taxes and everything won't jeopardize you. So I was really in the good, like in the green, but because of uncertainty, because of fear, because of being alone and just leaving that relationship and everything that was supposed to like come and counter with, I was like, okay, so I'm gonna need you to figure something out and sell this bad boy as soon as possible. That was a huge mistake. If I would have been there again, I would have definitely kept it and rented it out and maybe made over $100,000. So that was a huge mistake, but I won't do it again. All right. My third mistake was not upgrading my home before putting it towards the open house, right? So let's say, going back, I was going through that. I had moved out of the house, and I had told my ex, like, hey, I need to put this bad boy in the market, right? And I knew there were some things that I could have maybe like made it a little bit more nicer, or like upgraded, or made some painting touch-ups, like things like that. I didn't do any of that because I was such in a rush for no fucking reason. Excuse my French, but for no reason. I was like in a rush, wanting to sell my house, and I didn't do the necessary steps to make it, public friendly. So it took us, I had to go back in, I had to take it out of the market. I went back with my current husband. We went and we took, I think it was 4 to 5 days. We painted the entire house. We cleaned the entire house. We did epoxy on the garage floor. And then we kind of updated, I think, some lamps or some like fixtures or whatever. That was the best decision we ever made. We spent about like $1,000, maybe $1,500. Lowe's was our best friend. And 5 days in, I put it on the market once again that Saturday, and we went on the contract. I went on the contract that day. Because the first buyer that walked in, they loved the home. It was aesthetically pleasing. It smelled great. Not that I wasn't dirty or anything, but I made it a conscious effort. Let's have candles. We painted the entire condo. We did a deep cleaning in the home. We upgraded the garage, because once fixing vehicles and everything, there's a lot of oil stains on the floor. Girl, oh guy, I'm gonna need you to put some epoxy on that floor if it's messed up, okay? Just being honest, it only costs like a couple dollars, but it will make a world of a difference. That was definitely a mistake that I did. Okay, my number 4 was not having a savings account to prepare for it to be converted into a rental, right? So like I said, I was in a panic for no reason. I was living my best life. I was making decent money, but I just didn't have money allotted for the home, just in case I rented it out, or I was in the process of renting it out and then didn't get a chance to, or like it was like, it didn't rent out for a month or 2. So in Hawaii, my mortgage was about a couple $1,000. So, and I was by myself, and I was going through a lot of like life-changing events. So I didn't have that allotted. So I got pretty scared. I was like, what if it doesn't rent? Once again, fear for no reason. And I was like, I don't have the savings account just in case it doesn't rent. So then I decided to sell. But my advice to you, have some money saved for the home, regardless if it's rented out, regardless if you're about to rent it out, if you're a year out and that's your goal in the future. Guys, save the money. Save the money, because it's gonna relieve so much stress from you when you're in the process of renting it out, and then things happen. We just don't know, and it just would have saved me a lot of headache, and then it would also allow me to keep the home a little bit longer, because I didn't have the fear. That's just my 2 cents on that. Have a savings account for your designated assets, I would say. And then my number 5, I refinanced my home. I believe I want to say either 6 months in or a year out. However, I knew my exit time. So I knew that in 3 years I was gonna leave Hawaii. So not knowing what I know now, I would have either paid down the rate. Literally, guys, my interest rate wasn't even that bad. It was like about 3.5, 3.75. Like I said, I didn't know what I didn't know. And it wasn't that bad at all. If I wanted something lower, I should have just paid down the points. That was told to me, but I just didn't understand and see the value in it. So then I just said, okay, well, never mind. I'm just gonna refinance in 6 months to a year. I believe something like that. And then, so basically when you refi, it resets your loan, right? So all the equity that you have built kind of goes away, right? So I lost that. So by the time I sold my home 3 years later, the amount of equity that I acquired wasn't that much, right? And things was kind of slow back in October of 2020. It was right before, 2020. Yeah, it was kind of slow. So I was like, dang, I should have not refinanced, because I knew how long I was gonna stay in the home, right? If I would have either just not refi and just kept the payments, because I was still making the payments. It was still fine. So I would have just kept the payments throughout, and then I would have just sold my home and then made the equity and made the money back. So that was definitely a big one. I would suggest kind of talk with your lender and seeing your options. And also kind of just start knowing or start researching like what's the rate of equity increase on the home or on the market there that you're potentially buying a house or you own a home, whatever the case may be, because knowing that information allows you to make smarter decisions. So like I said, that was like a big lesson for me, not really a mistake, because if I knew what I knew now, I would have not refinanced. I would have just kept it and made some bands. But guys, look, we talked about my 5 either mistake or lesson that I felt like I had to go through in order to kind of like end that chapter in my life. But look guys, try not to make the same mistakes, or if you do, it's okay. Like, it's all right. We have a whole life ahead of us that we can make, smarter decisions, or just more like less risky decisions, or just kind of partner with someone that has walked the walk, so then you could prevent from losing money, because I've lost thousands of dollars because I just didn't know. But it's okay though, because I made it a point now to own real estate and think smarter and understand what I'm doing. So like I said, thank you again for joining me on another episode. These are my 5 lessons and mistakes that I learned when I purchased my first home back in 2018. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, you already know, contact me. Los quiero mucho. Bye.